Hi everyone. Today we will discuss a topic about awareness. That headline. Hi everyone. Today we will discuss a topic about awareness. The headline is awareness and change: why some people evolve while others remain the same. First of all, I am really sorry, teacher, professor, because I will read it from there because I really wrote very long and I couldn't, memorized it. So let's go. So first of all, in recent years, I have found myself becoming more introverted and more thoughtful. And I started spending more time inside my own mind, thinking about people, about the world we live in, and about why our generation sometimes feel disconnected from itself. I kept asking myself questions like, why are people the way they are? Why does our era feel so distant from genuine understanding? Because people don't understand. I don't know why. Maybe they don't think. And why does it feel like we never quite reached that ideal, almost utopian version of society that many people imagine? I'm thinking it's impossible with these people. One of the biggest reasons, at least in my opinion, is a strange contradiction in human nature. People want to be understood, but they don't always want to understand. For them, yeah, you will talk, but when you or me start to talk, they will be like, they just thinking about their answers. They're not trying to understand. They're not trying to focus. Maybe it's because of ADHD. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not that much good in psychology yet. Everyone speaks, but very few truly listen. And over time, I realized that many people don't just avoid listening to others; they avoid listening to themselves as well. That's why they are not aware. Like for me, if I want to give example, I listen myself a lot in recent years, and it really taught me something. Taught me how to love myself, how to respect myself, and how to love yourself like you are loving your friend. In the past, I was not loving myself like that. I was telling myself that I love myself, but when people making me upset, I was not getting mad that I should. I was getting mad when they were upsetting my friends, but I should do that towards myself also because I'm the most important person in my life. Anyways, let's continue. They continue living inside what feels like a closed mental box, a space where nothing really changes, where self reflection rarely happens. Maybe they are afraid of changing themselves because I was also afraid too before. And because, like, for them, their reality is about what they been taught. They don't want to see other world because they are scared to see the truth. They're also lying to their self, and I don't understand how they are doing that. Like, for me, if I lie to myself, a voice inside me will yell like, no, no, this is not you, or you can't do this. Like, if I do bad thing, I will feel anxious, but they don't. They close their minds, their voices, maybe their real self also. Anyways, afraid of becoming someone different, like that was what I was telling, or maybe afraid of realizing. Sorry for my grammar, that they might not be on the right path. Yeah. Throughout my life, I have constantly tried to change and improve myself because I hated myself a lot. That's why I always wanted to change myself. I colored my hair. I did these piercings. I really love them. That's why I still have them. But, anyways, now I don't color my hair because I love my natural color. Maybe it's because I feel natural and myself like this. I stopped coloring it these years. Every few years, I felt like I was slowly transforming into a different version of who I was before. And recently, I changed again, the thing that I said at the beginning. This process was not easy. Definitely, it was not easy because I needed to get punched so hard from life to change myself. Like, I got punched so hard, then I started to realize, yes, if I will live like this, then I will suicide because I can't live like this. It's impossible. It was painful at times. There were moments when it genuinely hurt, but in the end, I believe it was worth it, and I still believe that. I like the person I am becoming. However, whenever I try to share this growth with others or encourage them to reflect on themselves, many of them misunderstood my intentions. They thought like I'm doing offensive. You know, they are getting offended because for me they are really some people. Like a psychologist wouldn't say this, but I am not a psychologist right now, so I will say this. They are, I don't, okay, I won't say this, but they are really some bunch of, uh, how to say that word, like scared people. Let's say it like that, afraid people or something like that. Anyways, they didn't see support, they saw judgment. They assumed I was criticizing them rather than trying to help. Because for them, they know the best. For me, I never thought I know the best. That's why I tried to change, because I always thought I'm bad, I'm bad. Yeah, we are bad actually. We need to improve ourselves for that utopian future. Because if you stop improving yourself and think you are the best, then how we will improve ourselves, you know? Because we can't be the best. There is nothing called perfection. I was a perfectionist before, but there is nothing called perfection. There is no. And that's why we need to improve ourselves till the like infinite, you know, that's the best. Because if we will be perfect, then that means you will stop improving yourself, and that's bad. Because if you will improve yourself always, then you will go big like that. So I started asking myself another question: why do people react defensively when someone encourages self-reflection? I think one of the biggest reasons is that the idea comes from an external source. Definitely, this is the because at the past people were telling me that you should do this, you should do that. Mostly my parents, but I didn't listen them. What and how it ended, they were right. Sometimes I also don't listen them, but I listen them when they are right, because I am at that age that I can also understand and do things, and I'm that mature. But also they know better than I know that. People often trust their own thoughts more than anyone else's. What they believe feels correct simply because it comes from within them. Definitely. And if I'm honest, I used to be the same way. I told this already. When I was younger, I realized, yes, I told this already. Maybe growing up like that shaped how I developed as a person, because I didn't listen them, so I got a lot of punches. So I raised myself, but maybe it made me be like this earlier, because some people are even not being like this ever, you know. I met some people 40, 50 years old and they are not aware of their self, and that's sad. That's sad, because if you are not aware of yourself, aware of your environment, you can't live peacefully. You will always be sad, but you will hide it. I'm 22 years old now. I still don't follow every. Yeah, I said this. To consider what makes sense, etc. To reflect before rejecting. And this personal journey led me to a deeper question: why are some people willing to reflect and change while others remain closed within their own mental world? One of the biggest factors behind this difference, in my opinion, is self-awareness. If a person is truly self-aware, they think a lot. And if someone thinks deeply, they begin to notice what is wrong, not only within themselves, but also around them. Maybe they don't see it immediately, but over time and through experience, patterns become clearer. And yesterday, I went to a bar, and a girl, I was talking about this also. Like I said, if a person thinks a lot, then he will start to be aware. But she said they won't. But still, I think they will. Professor, if you will answer this also, it will be perfect. But I still think if a person thinks a lot, he will become or she will become aware, because like for me, I'm thinking every second. There is no time that I don't think. And if a person like this, then at some point dumb stuff, nonsense stuff are will end to think, you know, like yeah, you can think the nonsense stuff, but at some point it will end and you will focus on some other stuff. And that's why I believe if a person thinks like me, like every second, they will be aware. Okay. And if someone thinks, I said this, but this raises another important question. Is seeing these things actually a good thing, or is it a burden? I mean, in here, like, is it a burden to be self-aware, or is it good? For let's say like this, it's a burden, but also it's a good burden that you will suffer at first, but when you accept it, and especially when you accept it, you will be so strong. And this is the most important part, because probably I know you, so you understand. To be honest, a life where you can no longer lie to yourself forces you to become more disciplined and mentally stronger, like me. It pushes you to confront reality instead of escaping from it. Yes, it can be exhausting, but I don't believe it is a bad thing. It's just hard, like life. Life is hard, so if self-awareness is hard, it's not a problem. Whenever I try to encourage people to become more self-aware, I do it because I believe they are capable of more. Because I believe we are all same. We are like, let's say there is a person, there is a kid. We are all same in my opinion. The thing they are affecting us, the environment. If we will fix that, all of us will be so strong or so clever. But we are limiting our potentials. I believe in that. Because if I can do this, everyone can do this. Because I'm nothing different or nothing special from other people. I don't think like that. I don't I'm narcissist. I accept it, but this I don't think like that. Okay. And if someone becomes aware of themselves yet continues living a life they don't truly want, they may create a kind of personal struggle for themselves. Because awareness without action can feel heavy. So I will give example for this from myself. Like I started to be more aware these recent years, and at first I didn't care. I was going to clubs, doing some stuff, but at some point the voice in me, myself, my inner self, were yelling at me. What are you doing? This is not the life that we want actually. Why are you lying to yourself? And that voice started to be more strong, and at some point I said, okay, why am I doing this to myself? And I stopped, and now I'm more peaceful. I don't care about happiness, I don't care about sadness, I love all of the emotions, but now I'm peaceful. That's the most important part. So another question appears: can every person become self-aware? Unfortunately, I don't think so, because I told already, I saw some people who are not aware, and at some point, you can change people. Sometimes it feels like our minds have become numb. We normalize things that may not actually be healthy for us. For example, our relationship with phones and constant digital communication. I hate when I'm reaching towards my phone, I don't like reaching my phone. It feels so weird. Because why am I addicted to that? Or I'm smoking cigarettes, now I am trying to quit, but it's also not normal. I don't like those things. They are really not normal. Lately, I have started, I have told this. I have even noticed that I try not to communicate with people primarily through my phone anymore. You know why? Because this is not real. I can't feel emotions from phone. Like, seeing a person after a long time, even without texting, is the best gift for yourself. It's the best thing that you can feel. But in phones, you are just using little your emotions and finishing them. And when you see that person, the real emotion that you will feel if you don't text with them is gone. You wasted it. That's what I don't want. At this point, psychology offers an interesting perspective. Sorry. Psychology suggests that self-awareness often develops through reflection, discomfort, and honest self-evaluation. There is also a concept called metacognition, which means thinking about your own thinking. Yeah, crazy. People who develop this ability are more likely to reflect on themselves and grow over time. Research such as the Dunning-Kruger effect shows that people with lower levels of awareness sometimes struggle to recognize their own limitations. Oh yeah. Not because they are unwilling to grow, but because they genuinely cannot see what they are missing, because they are in their mind, in their little box. Psychology also highlights the role of social conformity. Humans naturally adapt to the behavior and mindset of the people around them. If someone grows up in an environment where self reflection is rare, then deep self awareness may never fully develop. So, from a psychological perspective, awareness is not just a personality trait. It is a skill that develops through reflection, experience, and sometimes discomfort. Definitely, you need trauma to grow. And perhaps that is why becoming self aware can feel both powerful and isolating at the same time, because once you start seeing clearly, you begin to notice how many people are still living unconsciously. And this is so sad. This is so sad. Not because they are incapable, but because awareness requires effort, honesty, and sometimes pain. They don't want to be honest, they don't want to talk, they don't want pain, they are just running. But you can't run. You can't run from your emotions. You can't run from yourself. But they can't understand that. That's really sad. That's sometimes I even wanna cry. Like, just sad. Maybe the real difference between people is not intelligence but awareness. And this is why I think everyone is same. Because if everyone were aware, they would be able to do everything. Anyways. And if you never become aware, you may stay the same forever. And perhaps the real challenge of being human is not just to live, but to truly see ourselves. That's how you love and respect yourself. Thanks for listening, and my bottle just fell. Bye bye.